You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Trump knows exactly who the voters are mad at, and it's not him, based on an article by Sarah K. Burris. Trump is blaming everyone but the man in charge, the setup. In a Punchbowl news interview, Trump did what he always does when consequences arise. He waved them away and blamed someone else. He admitted there is a lot for voters to be upset about in his second term, then insisted that it is not his fault. He also complained that Republicans are too soft, threatened his own Senate leader, and fantasized about permanent rule if his agenda and procedural sabotage would deliver fast enough. That is a useful part of the story, not the theater, the political meaning, the actual power. Trump is not a commentator watching events from the sidelines. He is the president, the dominant figure in the Republican Party, and the person whose agenda is being carried out or stalled by institutions he helped capture. When he says Republicans are losing because they are not passing his demands, he is not describing a party feud. He is describing a one-man regime of expectation lowered upward, blamed downward. The Republican Senate is not, in essence, here either. It is the enforcement mechanism for his project when it cooperates and the alibi when it does not. John Chu is treated as a placeholder whose job is to absorb pressure while Trump measures obedience. That is not a party with internal conviction. That is a conditioning for favor. The blame game. The article's strongest evidence is also the scariest indictment of Trump's politics. Voters are angry about the economy, housing costs, food and fuel prices. Generic ballot polling shows Democrats ahead. Among the most motivated voters, Democrats lead by 20 points. That is not confusion. That is judgment. Trump's response is to disown responsibility and reframe the problem as machine weakness and insufficient extremism from his own side. He says Republicans are too nice. He says Democrats are vicious. He says the issue is not his record but whether his party has the nerve to impose it more aggressively. This is classic authoritarian misdirection. The harm is real, the blame is displaced, and the solution offered is more force. The filibuster tale. Trump's fixation on Democrats supposedly eliminating the filibuster is revealing. He is already laying the groundwork to justify procedural arson by pretending the other side would do it first. That is a playbook accused in opposition of the breach you intend to commit, then used in accusation as moral cover. The filibuster is not a neutral civic relic in this story. It is a tool Trump wants removed when it blocks him and weaponized when he can use it to entrench power. His claim that Democrats would move so fast on it is not analysis. It is preemptive propaganda designed to make democratic resistance look like aggression and authoritarian escalation look like common sense. What Republicans actually fear, the GOP problem, is not that it lacks communication discipline. It is that Trump has turned the parties into a vehicle for personal rule, and the vehicle is rattling under the weight of the public's reaction to the results. If Republican turnout falls when Trump is off the ballot, that does not mean the party has a branding issue. It means it has no governing identity beyond him. That is why the story matters beyond one interview. The Republican Party has spent years teaching its voters to identify the party with Trump and Trump with grievance. Now it has to manage the consequences of policies that voters can feel directly and cost instability and the slow degradation of public life. When that happens, a party which is for the oldest trick in the authoritarian toolbox insists that people are still loyal. Only the institution is failing them. The pattern. This is not a misunderstanding. It is a structure. Trump pushes harmful policy, Republicans absorb the order, public anger rises, and the blame is pushed onto the nearest subordinate, procedural rule, or imagined enemy. The president has to decide whether to report that as a personality conflict or name it for what it is, a deliberate effort to concentrate power while laundering responsibility. The larger reason is simple. The question is never whether Trump knows how to dominate a party. He does. The question is whether the institutions around him will keep pretending that domination is normal politics. The only serious counterforce in this system is the Democratic coalition led in practice by Democrats because the Republican Party has made itself a delivery system for reaction, not governance. The task is not to admire that fact. It is to treat it as the minimum condition for stopping a movement that keeps misstating sabotage for strength. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternate for today's article with the automated voice of Diana. Thanks for listening.